We will be talking about Pokemon Go as an example of media convergence. We'll be looking at how Pokemon has been an example of participatory culture and how, as technology has developed alongside the franchise, Pokemon Go players no longer play as a character, but are, in fact, the character themselves. The main concept we will touch on is media convergence. Henry Jenkins eloquently states that media convergence is more than simply a technological shift. Convergence alters the relationship between existing technologies, industries, markets, genres, and audiences. Convergence refers to a process, but not an endpoint. The transmedia franchise that is Pokemon has always been on the intersection of technology and participatory culture. From the very first games, Pokemon followed the protagonist catching pocket monsters from their region, then training them through battle and competing against gym leaders. Pokemon Go is at a pinnacle of converging media. The franchise of Pokemon has spanned handheld video games for generations of consoles. With successful anime cartoon series, movies, trading cards, and further development onto modern consoles and phones. First released on Game Boy, this console allowed players to meet in person, connect via a cable, trade together, and battle. From there, Pokemon has developed with technology, allowing easier and wider multiplayer aspects to the games. Pokemon from the beginning formed participatory culture around the Pokemon StoryWorld. The first generation of games were released as a pair. Subsequent mainline games would follow this pattern. Each of these pairs only had a part of the full collection of Pokemon available to find within its gameplay. If you really wanted to, you had to find a friend that had the other game and trade with them. On the Nintendo Game Boy console, this was achieved with a Game Link cable, a physical cable connecting the two players' consoles together in order to battle and to trade. Game designer Satoshi Tajiri spoke of how the link cable was key to bringing Pokemon to the system. The game from the very beginning made the most of what affordances the platform could offer. Where the Game Boy was a single-player console, Pokemon used the link cable to change how the console could be used socially. Further, each generation of Pokemon games would introduce you to a new region to explore. Likewise, each generation had new protagonists to play as. Many new Pokemon are also introduced with each generation. Loyal players gradually exploring the widening world of Pokemon. Of course, technology progressed too. As the handheld consoles adopted newer technologies such as wireless internet connectivity, the games were able to connect either directly to other consoles or to the wider internet. This facilitated more convenient trading with your friends nearby. Also, however, expanding reach to people you'd never met, but are trading the exact Pokemon you're searching for through a global trading system. The internet allowing game media to connect a global community of players participating in the Pokemon world. The growing prevalence and ubiquity of smartphones makes an obvious opportunity for new media experiences. Modern smartphones contain high-speed mobile data for internet connectivity, high-quality cameras, GPS for global positioning, accurate to within 5 meters, 3D compass, and accelerometers to allow for orientational awareness, powerful processors capable of rendering games and graphics, and overlaying such graphics onto an active camera feed. In 2016, Pokemon Go launched. This version of Pokemon, like all before, used the platform it was on to great effect. However, this step onto the modern smartphone also allowed a shift relative to previous games. That is, Pokemon Go didn't need to provide a world or a protagonist. The affordances of the smartphone platform allowed players who had immersed themselves into a Pokemon world through a game's protagonist to themselves step bodily into the Pokemon world. With wild Pokemon and key play locations digitally located within the player's local area, they can explore their own town or city with the same excitement as exploring the in-game worlds of previous Pokemon games. Already familiar places become exciting parts of the game, encouraging people to discover new landmarks and points of interest in their local area. The technology allows this new medium of augmented reality to evolve the relationship players have with Pokemon and with the local area. Because the game world is overlaid on the real world, this allows for spontaneous meetings with other players. After some time playing, people recognize the telltale signs of another player. Valentine and Jensen mention in their research into Pokemon Go that this recognition in many cases led to an interaction as players felt part of communities of players with similar interests, goals, and movements, contributing to and shaping the play experience for each other. This media evolution also once again changed the way players of Pokemon interacted with each other. In conclusion, core to Pokemon is using the technology available to encourage playing together with others. Using the technology combined within the modern smartphone, Pokemon Go found a unique position where the player can step into the game world themselves. This not only immerses the player, but encourages a move back to in-person social connection with other players, reminiscent of the early days of the cable-connected consoles. Pokemon, by adopting current technologies, has evolved how it relates to players and how they can relate to each other.